Local support for today's News 6 has been provided by the Northwest Ohio Educational Technology Foundation, Bowling Green State University, and the members of WBGU-TV.
Hi! We're the 6th grade class of Melmore Elementary. Welcome to News 6.
Hi, I'm David McReynolds from Melmore Elementary. Welcome to News 6 with today's first story. Here's Megan Martin.
Have you ever wondered how beautiful beadwork of Native American crafts is accomplished? Melmore resident Doug Sampson was very interested in Native American crafts and decided to find out more about it. News 6 reporter Carrie Sampson has the story.
Northwest Ohio was once home to many Native Americans, and it's only fitting that since we are in the Mohawk district that we interview Mr. Sampson. Mr. Sampson, how did you get interested in Indian artifacts and crafts?
Well, I've always been interested in the outdoors with hunting and fishing, and I used to find arrowheads when I used to walk along the edge of fields, and I guess that's originally how I got interested in the Indians.
Where did you learn how to do these Indian arts?
Most of it is self-taught by researching them in books and going to the library and looking up things and watching other people do it.
Is it hard to make bead designs?
No, it's not difficult to make the bead designs. It takes a lot of time though. The first step is to take a piece of graph paper and have an idea of what your pattern is going to look like, either by making one up or looking at it from a book. And then you X out the places on the graph paper where you want to put a bead, and then it gives you an idea of what the design is going to look like. And you can also fill in with different colors to experiment to see what it's going to look like before you actually do the beadwork.
How do you work the loom?
I hope all of you have seen a loom where you do regular, like making rugs and so forth. It works the same way. The only difference is instead of just running a cord back and forth, you put beads on it also, and then when you move the strings up and down, it locks those beads in place then.
What other things have you made?
I've designed pieces and made them on the looms, and then from there you can take them and make bags and put them on the bags to decorate them. Then I've made some dream catchers.
Now back to the studio. Today's News 6 is produced by Melmore Elementary. Our town is located in Seneca County, just a few miles south of Tiffin. Melmore was founded in 1824 and has a population of 150.
Our next story is about a man who has spent the last several years recreating the days of yesteryear. News 6 reporter Cody Wolf takes the 6th grade class to meet his grandfather, Jerry Wolf, who shares the wonderful collection of memories.
Hi, do you want to see something really neat? Well, stick with me and we'll talk about my grandfather's toys and his old gas station. Grandpa, why did you recreate your gas station?
Well, when I was a boy your age, I used to go over to the gas station in our neighborhood, and all of us boys used to hang out there. They sold pop and candy and ice cream, and the older men played cards in the back, and they told stories, and we'd stand around and listen to them. It was just a fun place to go.
Will you tell us about your gas station?
The first thing I started collecting for this gas station is the big sign out in front on the pole. And I bought that about 25 years ago. And since then, I've been adding to it. And when I retired 9 years ago, I decided to build this gas station, and I've been working on it for 6 years.
How did you get started in collecting toys?
Well, I started in Hershey, Pennsylvania, about 1968, and I bought a toy fire engine. And I had to carry it about 1.5 miles to the car. And different times I thought about laying it down and leaving it there. It was so heavy to carry and hard to carry.
What are some of the more unique toys?
Well, probably my most unique we will see later is a merry-go-round. And it sits in our parlor. But I have trucks, trains, sleds, wagons, all kinds of others.
Why do you collect toys?
Well, the main reason I've collected toys is I lived during the Depression and we couldn't afford toys then. And over the years at flea markets, I saw very expensive toys for sale that didn't cost much. So I was buying them and paying very little for them.
Thank you, Mr. Wolf, for sharing your antique toys and gas station with News 6. This week's edition of Kids View asked the sixth graders if they could go anywhere in the world, where would it be? Here's what they said.
Hi, this is TJ Marcotte with today's Kid View question, which is, if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go and why?
If I had a choice to go anywhere in the world, I would go to Miami, Florida, because the climate is warm there.
If I could go anywhere in the world, I would go to Los Angeles, California, because it's one of the places I've always wanted to go.
If I can go anywhere in the world, I go to Phoenix, Arizona, because I like the desert.
Our last story deals with the sights of nature. John Lortz is an artist who recreates scenes from nature out of wood. News 6 reporter Nick Tolan tells us more.
Mr. Lortz has been my next door neighbor for my whole life. Every summer, I go over there to see what he is carving. Mr. Lortz, how did you learn how to carve?
I learned mostly just from doing things on my own. I started out doing simple carvings and kept trying to add detail to them.
Where do you get your ideas?
All my ideas come from nature. It seems like the squirrel carving, I took a photograph of a squirrel this spring and I really liked it, so I did a carving of that. And the wildflowers, I found a lot of really nice wildflowers back in the woods and tried to do them.
What kinds of wood do you use for your carvings?
The Indian there is cherry, the wildflowers are hickory, and the eagle's box elder.
What kinds of tools are used?
Knives, a lot. I got a set of carving chisels that I use on the bigger stuff.
What kinds of things do you carve?
Animals, wildflowers, figures of coon hunting scenes, and now I'm starting to do some human carving of the Indian, and mostly stuff from nature though.
How do you make all the figures move?
On the coon hunting scene, it's got little cam inside and you crank it and that lifts up little levers, and each time a lever goes up, a little action happens.
Thank you, Mr. Lortz, for sharing your carvings with News 6. This week in Critics Corner, Melmore Elementary chose Skinny Bones by Barbara Park. It's about a boy named Alex Frankovich, who is also called Skinny Bones. Alex has many problems in his life, the biggest one being TJ Stoner. TJ, the best athlete in school, makes fun of Skinny Bones. The plot thickens when Alex has to play a baseball game against TJ on television. The words "booga booga" get Skinny Bones in trouble during and after the game until a surprising announcement at school saves the day. It's a book you won't want to miss.
That's all for this week's show. Be sure to tune in next week when the 6th grade class of Clyde Elementary visits News 6. Have a happy and safe holiday.
Local support for today's News 6 has been provided by the Northwest Ohio Educational Technology Foundation, Bowling Green State University, and the members of WBGU-TV.